Hi, my name is Caroline Holt, and I am scouting for volunteers. So, when I started with my scouts many years ago, I've been doing this since I had scouts that were Cubs. I heard for many years that the Cub Scouts are really involved, but once you get to Boy Scouts, the Scouts run themselves. But I'm here to tell you that that is the great myth. In fact, the Scouts do not run everything. It really only works if the parents are really involved. So while you might think that Scouts is run by Scouts, and it absolutely is, the meetings, the Scouts do a great job running the meetings, but a lot of the way that those meetings happen and all of the great stuff that they do in terms of camping and activities and rank advancement, all that good stuff is actually run by the parents. So scouting only works with a lot of great parent support. So let's start by talking a little bit about volunteer roles. There are two types of volunteer roles that we have. Some are back office and operations, and some are scout facing. Both are incredibly important, and we need all families to be able to do both of these types of things throughout the year. So from a back office perspective, we have our troop committee. Our troop committee you can kind of think of as the planning and execution committee for all of the activities that we do across the year, whether it's chartering with the district or the national capital area and the ultimate BSA, whether it is the finances for the troop, planning the activities at a high level once the boys have decided what they'd like to do, all that good stuff. There's also a district committee, and many of the ASMs or our scoutmasters participate in that in some way. That's not a requirement for anybody on the committee or anything, but it is important to know that there are a series of meetings where we do have to send representation. We also have all of our campouts and activities that we plan. So each month there's typically one campout. Somebody needs to take a responsibility for coordinating that, so reaching out several months ahead of time to wherever we're going. Could be a caving location, could be whitewater rafting, etc. So doing all the reservation work, identifying what it's going to cost, making sure that all the scouts have the paperwork that they need, collecting all that paperwork, all that good stuff, and then making sure that people get in cars and head out. Then there's the Court of Honor. This is a really important piece because the Court of Honor and the Board of Review are actually really critical to making sure that our scouts make that next advancement. So the planning for these activities, making sure that they happen, that there's good parent support and participation is really critical. Then there are fundraising activities. As of now, we do leaf raking, which is our primary fundraiser, and Friends of Scouting, which is really our way of giving back. It costs several $millions a year to run the programs for the National Capital Chapter. And then service project planning and support. So across the course of the year, there are lots of great activities that our scouts are doing as part of their rank advancement or even Eagle Scout projects. And so making sure that there are people to help support those is important. Then there's scout-facing activities. So in order to make sure that scouts happen, first we need assistant scoutmasters. So these are people who wear the uniform. They may not be professionals. Many of them have not been Eagle Scouts, but they share a passion for being with their kids and being outside or doing some of the things that ensure that our scouts have a great experience in scouting. Everybody needs to be prepared to drive to campouts. We often are missing drivers, and so campout driving is really important. So if your scout is interested in participating in a campout, assume that you're going to need to drive, but we will do our best to try and help coordinate to make sure that for both environmental reasons and generally that not everybody does have to drive. We also have campout sleeping, actually sleeping at the campout and supporting the campout. So assistant scoutmasters, usually we have to have two on each trip, but typically there are two that attend, but they are not the only people who should be going. So contrary to popular belief, they don't adore spending time with teenage boys. So they are also looking for other parents to attend with them. Typically we ask that you attend at least one or two campouts each year. Merit badge facilitation. So in order for a scout to do their rank advancement, there are lots of activities that they do from rank to rank. And then there are a certain number of required badges in order for them to get their Eagle rank. And that's, by the time they turn 18, they get their Eagle. So usually the younger scouts are really focused on rank advancement, from getting scout, 10-foot, second class, first class, all those good things. Once they start to get to a certain age and rank, they have a requirement for completing badges. So early on, you don't need to worry so much about the badges. Later on, you have to worry about the badges, and they have to complete all of their Eagle requirements. including the badges and their project before their 18th birthday. So it's really important that we have typically 2 merit badge counselors for each of the Eagle required badges. Sometimes those are badges that you actually facilitate a group of students going through, and sometimes they're just somebody who calls you and says, hey, I've got 2 requirements to complete, can I just talk you through them and have you sign off on them? Maybe they started something at camp and need some help finishing them so that they can stay on track. Another is the boards of review. So boards of review are where the scouts come in front of adults. It's usually 3 adults, and they learn about those 3 adults. It's their opportunity to understand what that scout did during their rank advancement or trying to get their rank advancement. So they ask them questions about what they learned and how they did, and they ask them questions about the troop and their experience and that sort of thing. It is not important that you've had a lot of exposure to scouting. It's just important that you show up and you are able to engage those scouts and helping them explore and reflect on their experience. And then last but not least, the other really critical scout-facing activity is supporting Eagle Scout projects and church service projects. So we are chartered through the church, the Cherrydale United Methodist Church, and so there are activities that we do with them across the course of the year. Projects supporting hunger and homelessness, projects supporting their nativity scene. And so coming out and supporting those projects and volunteering your time, whether it's cutting a trail or supporting something at the church, are really important. So again, 2 primary types of volunteer roles, the stuff that's happening back office and then the stuff that's happening in front of the scouts. And we need every family to be participating in both types of these activities every year. So in order to do this, each year we take a look at what roles we have covered. So we benefit from having about 60 families that are in the troop. And so we do have a lot of these covered, but from year to year, a lot of these shift, right? Somebody has a job change. Somebody says, hey, I really didn't enjoy that role last year. It's not conducive to my schedule. So we need to figure out what roles we need. We also find that every year there are Eagle Scouts who are aging out. In 2022, we have 5 folks who have gotten their Eagle Scout, and they'll be turning 18 and their families will be leaving the troop. So we need to make sure that we have plenty of backfill. And then we want to figure out what are you interested in and what can we match you up with in terms of both skill set and time. So in order to volunteer, the first and foremost, every single family needs to complete youth protection training. This is really important to make sure that you know what it is that your scouts should be doing and how you can engage with them as adults. Second, please assume that you'll need to drive to campouts, but also volunteer for those back office and scout-facing activities if you would like your child to participate. Be sure to sign up, check the sign up geniuses, check the emails. We want to try and avoid those threatening emails that say, hey, we can't actually do this board of review. We'd rather have those covered in advance because, again, everybody is volunteering their time, including our Scoutmaster, who gives probably 10 hours a week to scouts. His son has long since aged out of the troop, and he's just giving back, which is really cool. But we want to make sure that he is getting well supported. And then you can also get support from the volunteer coordinator. One position that we have is somebody who is responsible for helping ensure that we have the right sorts of volunteers and can support them. So if you're planning a camp out or an activity for the first time, you have someone to go to. And then last but not least, have fun. This is an opportunity for your scouts to really have a great experience, and we want to make sure that they and you have a great time doing this. So thanks so much. If you have questions, please feel free to reach out to the volunteer coordinator. You can also email the Scoutmaster, although Ron Brook, who's currently our troop committee chair, or whomever is serving as troop committee chair when you watch this, is the person who handles all of the parent involvement and making sure that the troop operations work well. The Scoutmaster is responsible for making sure that the scout-related activities work well. Thanks so much, and we look forward to working with you.